The archaeological world is full of secrets that have yet to be discovered. Moreover, some discoveries made by archaeologists a long time ago remain full of mystery without answers, like those you are about to see today. Here are the main unresolved mysteries in 2024. The construction of the 3 pyramids of Giza in Egypt is one of the greatest archaeological mysteries of all time. To this day, questions continue to be asked about how they were built. But it's not just these 3 pyramids that arouse the curiosity of archaeologists and Egyptologists. Another mystery remains the Sphinx, built about 4,500 years ago. It is by far the most mysterious structure on the Giza Plateau. This limestone monument holds many secrets. First of all, we do not know who built it, nor why, although it is suggested that it was erected to guard and protect the pyramids. It is also thought to represent one of the pharaohs. Another question we ask ourselves is the following. Does the Sphinx contain something inside? Logically, this would not be the case because the statue is carved into the rock, but some think it sits atop a tomb. The problem is that it would not be possible to verify this type of thing due to the material with which it was built, which makes it particularly fragile. Now, did you know that the Sphinx of Giza has lost its nose? Surely you will have noticed, especially if you see it in profile. Where and how did it disappear? This is another secret for scientists. If you are fascinated by Antarctica, you have surely heard of the famous pyramid that was discovered in this isolated place. Mysterious and intriguing at the same time, this ice pyramid has given rise to various theories. It has been said that this structure, whose satellite images have widely circulated on the web, was linked to the existence of some civilization on the continent that would be behind the construction of this pyramid, or to the presence of extraterrestrials. Fortunately, the mystery did not last too long because it was eventually discovered that this pyramid was, in fact, natural. It is actually a peak of the Ellsworth mountain range, the highest chain in Antarctica. According to experts in geology, this would be due to the convergence of glaciers, a natural phenomenon observed in various places around the world. In other words, this mountain probably owes its pyramidal shape to erosion that lasted a very long time, but this does not detract from the fact that it is part of the planet's strangest geological formations. Many of you know the story of Pompeii, the Roman city destroyed by the eruptions of Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD. Even today, artifacts continue to appear, such as some objects that belonged to the inhabitants of the city, and there is still much to research about these inhabitants themselves among the vivid images that emerge when researching Pompeii. There are those that show these people fixed in plaster. However, did you know that these people were buried under mud and ashes for centuries and were only discovered in the early 1800s by pure chance? Pompeii, as well as the nearby village of Herculaneum, were preserved under layers of volcanic ash, and their discovery prompted specialists to excavate about 3/4 of the surface of the ancient city. However, the work is not finished for archaeologists who continue to dig in Pompeii because, yes, Pompeii has not yet revealed all its secrets. In Laos, there is a site that has not ceased to fascinate the curious. The Plain of Jars, located a few hundred kilometers from the capital Vientiane, as its name indicates, is a field that probably hosts thousands of stone jars, scattered, and which was first discovered in the 1930s by French archaeologist Madeleine Colani. These jars are very ancient, estimated to be 2,000 years old and dating back to the Iron Age. Their size and shape vary from one jar to another. Some measure up to 3 meters in height, while their weight can reach several tons. What attracts the curiosity of archaeologists is the presence of human bones in the region, leading to various theories about the reason for the construction of these huge jars. In fact, many think they were used for burial. Others suggest they were used for storing food or for fermenting wine and rice, according to Laotian mythology. Did you know that there once existed a very precious but very rare plant, which unfortunately is extinct today? This plant is Silphium, a plant species that grew in the Greek city of Cyrene in present-day Libya. Silphium represented the wealth of the city, and it is no coincidence that its image was even stamped on Greek coins. The virtues of this plant were numerous because it served as food for humans and livestock and as medicine for any type of disease. It would have also served as a contraceptive, as a source of perfume, and as an aphrodisiac, and it is said that the shape of its seeds inspired the heart shape we use today to symbolize love. Unfortunately, Silphium ended up going extinct without knowing the cause. The most logical theory suggests that this rare plant, which grew only in a narrow strip of land along the North African coast and was not cultivable, became extinct due to being over-harvested, especially by the Romans. Desertification of the region might have also contributed to the disappearance of silphium. Another question that specialists ask is why silphium was not cultivable. To answer this question, another theory exists according to which silphium was a hybrid between two species of giant fennel, but this hybrid may have reproduced asexually, and its seeds were possibly sterile, which explains why farmers were unable to cultivate it. However, even if this theory seems logical, the mystery remains, and perhaps we will never know more about the extinction of silphium. The city of Sodom is an ancient city that dates back between 3500 and 1540 BC. It is famous for having been destroyed by God as punishment for sins committed by its population. And today, archaeologists think they have found the ruins of this ancient city in Jordan. Indeed, it would be the city of Tal el-Hammam, where archaeologists have discovered gates, towers, and walls reaching up to 10 meters in height. In addition to this, specialists have based themselves on good evidence such as the position and size of Sodom, which would correspond exactly to the Jordanian city, as well as the fact that this city was suddenly deserted at a certain point. If one day you feel like visiting Bolivia, keep in mind one name, Puma Punku. This site is one of the oldest in the country, but also one of the most mysterious in the world. Archaeologists and historians have long been interested in this site in the Andes, on the shores of Lake Titicaca, because of the extraordinary precision and complexity that characterize its ruins and structures. It must also be said that the exact age of the Puma Punku site is unknown since the results of radiocarbon dating have been contested. While some estimate that the site was built between about 500 and 600 AD, others suggest that Puma Punku dates back several thousand years BC. Obviously, this is the subject of a real debate, and even leads some experts to study the hypothesis that extraterrestrials might have something to do with it. Well, the mystery remains intact. In Egypt, there exists a lost underwater city known by the name of Thonis Heracleion. It is said that this city, which was one of the oldest cities in Egypt and was founded around 800 BC, disappeared under the waters of the Mediterranean about 1200 years ago. Built on the islands of the Nile Delta, the city was traversed by canals and was at one time the main port of Egypt. But this city was eventually swallowed by the waters, and before it was discovered in 2000, several statues and other artifacts were found in this ancient city, whose ruins now rest in the Abu Qir Bay, 2.5 km off the coast. How this ancient city ended up underwater is the question that experts ask themselves. The most obvious hypothesis is that its sandy soil and water-filled clay in the region, added to the weight of the huge buildings that were there, may have caused the city to collapse following an earthquake. We cannot evoke mysteries without mentioning one of the greatest enigmas in history, the Voynich manuscript, the famous ciphered book that many specialists have failed to decipher. Because this 240-page book, which owes its name to the one who discovered it in 1912, Wilfrid Voynich, is considered the most mysterious book in the world due to its strange content. Many questions arise about its origin, language, and author. This manuscript has even been the subject of great fascination due to the mystery that surrounds it. It so happens that today the Voynich manuscript, which is preciously preserved at Yale University, has finally been deciphered by a German Egyptologist, Rainer Hannig, who spent 3 years analyzing it. The expert claimed that the language of the manuscript was based on Hebrew. However, whether the mystery of the Voynich manuscript has been solved once and for all remains to be seen. Let's finish with a discovery that was made in Scotland many years ago. The discovery consisted of a rock slab 13 meters in length and 8 meters in width, with a carved surface, to which the name Koshno stone was given. This ancient slab, 5,000 years old, was discovered in 1887, but to protect it from vandals, archaeologists decided to bury it in 1965 in a corner of the forest, alongside a residential complex near Clydebank. It remained there for 50 years and was rediscovered thanks to a high-resolution scanner. For archaeologists who have begun to study it again, it is one of the most important rock art objects in Europe. The mystery lies, however, in the meaning of these cut marks and rings engraved on the Kochno stone, as well as the period in which they were made, something that specialists hope to discover thanks to cutting-edge technologies used. Now tell me, what do you think of all these archaeological mysteries? Write it in the comments, like and subscribe to the channel.